Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Osborne. It looks like we're getting started for our weekly wellness broadcast here. This is going to be one of our first that we're doing this year. We're really going to be focusing on doing these half-hour helps on a regular basis. And the reason being is we've gotten so many people have asked us to actually give us more information, and people live across the country, family and friends. They live all across the world, and what we want to be able to do is we really want to bring this to you here. And so tonight we're going to be doing our Revolution Reset, and I think the big thing is we're going to give a few people a chance to log on there just in a couple more minutes there. I think tonight's going to be one of those nights where, for the people that have had the challenges, right? There's so many people out there that have challenges, and they've been kind of fighting it, and they always wonder, maybe next time, maybe next time. And really, my goal is for this to be your next time, meaning that we've tried things, we failed many times, and then we sometimes just end up trying to give up there. And so that's really my goal tonight, is to be able to give you your power back. So much of the time we've had our power robbed from us. And so we're going to get started in a few seconds. We have a few people on here. I appreciate any comments that you guys have. Just make sure you share this. The more people that we get this out to, the more lives that we transform. And that's really what tonight's about. It's about transform lives, because we only get one life to live. So if you guys have any questions, you can put your questions up, and we'll be able to, I'll be able to see the questions here. So don't be shy. This is a time for all of us to learn. But I guess with that, I figured we just get started here. Let me just get a couple things. We're working with some new software to make sure that it happened. So this picture that I'm going to show you right now, and the one that you see off to the right-hand side. So this picture was a picture that I took in New York Times Square. And I was actually in a hotel room, looking out at the hotel room, and it really struck me at that moment. And the reason why it struck me, not because there was a McDonald's there, but there's 1 million people there, and of those 1 million people, we over 990,000 people in the United States die unnecessarily from the lifestyles that they live. And then we try to fix those lifestyles with drugs or medications. And I never had a concept of what a million people look like. And so that's why I put this picture, and I actually have it on my wall at the office to remind me that for those people, there's 1 million people there, and it seems like a lot, but to somebody, that's their mother, somebody, that's their father. And I think that's really what this is about, is making sure that as we kind of go through this, it's not just us, but it's all the other people that we love in our lives there. So I'm going to move forward here. And so this is in preparation for what we call our Resolution Reset. So the Resolution Reset is going to be a phenomenal time, because this is what we do 3 times a year. We do what we call our makeovers, and in these makeovers, they're a time to really change our lives and change the way that we eat and the way that we exercise and identify toxins. One of the biggest challenges is that after doing this for 25 years, is I see people that as they're attempting to do things, they fail so many times. And you fail enough times, you start thinking of yourself as a loser. Well, that's why we're doing this whole Resolve Makeover, to really focus on what it takes to actually be a winner there, and to actually to find out what all the hidden problems were that we've been dealing with. So I guess the big thing is that, guess what date is passed? It's January 15th. So on January 15th, it's a magic date in the United States, because they find that 95% of the people have actually given up on their New Year's resolutions. They've already broken their New Year's resolutions by January 15th. So if you made a resolution and this year, you're not an exception. Most people do it. I'm thrilled for you about it. But what we really want to focus on is what I can do to help you, support you, and so that you guys can keep rocking it here. And so tonight's not about making another New Year's resolution. It's really about making life changes there. And just think about it. Most people don't even make resolutions anymore. We just kind of give up on it, because we just thought it's just too late for me. Why? Because we make them year after year after year, and we know that we're not going to follow through on them there. So after a while, who wants to keep disappointing yourself, right? I mean, who really wants to be upset with yourself? And why even bother to set a new standard for this year if you're going to be doing the same thing as you did last year there? So one of the things I really want to encourage you is to start creating your 2020 vision. What's 2020 like? right? What's 2020 going to be like for you? And if you're the kind of person that's here tonight, that's obviously not you. You're actually somebody that's committed to doing something great next year. So the question is that what is it that makes us even want to start making resolutions there? And so I think that the big thing is that we have something innate in us that says we need to grow. Like a tree does not even think about not growing. It's just its sole purpose on this planet is to actually grow. Everything in the world grows. A plant never gets to a point and says, I'm too big, I'm not going to grow anymore. And that's the big thing is that the reason why we don't grow is we're afraid of change. And that's why I love this quote by George Bernard Shaw that says, progress is impossible without change. And those who can't change their minds can't change anything. And that's an interesting question. Why is it that this time of year that we have this tradition, that there's something inside of us that really wants us to make things better, that the calendar, it gives us this idea that we can actually have a fresh start right now and have a great victory. And the only thing that's going to make us happy in the year ahead and the decades ahead is really going to be having an experience where on a regular basis you feel like your life is making progress. And there's one thing I want to teach you, and one thing I want to remind you of, and it's really simple. Getting things is not going to make you happy. And that's where most people get caught up. They think that just by having things is going to make them happy. Having a certain weight, having a certain amount of money there, they might excite you. Even in a relationship, having a relationship, it might be magnificent as it might be, and it might be exciting for a while, but it's not going to but if you don't keep that relationship growing, I promise you it's not going to stay exciting there. The real secret to happiness is progress, and progress itself actually equals change. And if we can make change on a regular basis, if we can make progress on a regular basis, we're just going to feel alive. And so that's why today, I'm just going to ask you that today is the day that we change. And that's why at the beginning of the year, we want this fresh start. And I can expand, and I could grow, I can improve, I can change. I can maybe better than change. I can make progress. And think about that. Progress really has an aliveness to it, doesn't it? I mean, you don't have to have worked at, you don't have to work at changing. People say it all the time. Well, I'm working on changing, but don't worry about it. You don't have to work on changing. Change is going to be automatic. It's the type of change that's going to happen, and that's going to be your choice. Your body's going to change whether you want to or not. And as the years go by, your body's going to change and look different. No matter how hard you work, there's going to be some changes going on there. The economy's going to change no matter what you want it to do. The weather's going to change. Relationships are going to change. Everything in life is always changing. And we don't have to work on change. It's automatic, but progress is not. A lot of times we have sideways energy making all these changes, but we're not making any progress. So if you want to make any real progress, then what you've got to do is look at your life in a completely different way. You got to say, I'm going to take control of this process. And it's not just hope. I'm going to work out like people who do make a resolution. Isn't that what we're really doing at this time of year? They're saying, well, here's my resolutions for the year. And they're basically wishes. And it's our wish list. And we just hope it all comes together. And then we call it a resolution, but we don't know really what a resolution is. But what a resolution is, it means that when you resolve to do something, it means that what you're going to do is you've decided to do it. So to have a resolution, you absolutely have to resolve. You have to resolve to do it. And I think that's a big key. We say that we want things, but we don't necessarily make those decisions. When you resolve something, it means that this is how it's going to be from now on. I mean, you literally cut off any possibility except the thing that you're committed to. It's like the old adage, if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boats. And most of the times we never burn the boats, but we try to take the island. And then when the resistance becomes too great, then we retreat back into our boats. But when you burn the boats, there's no going back. And you're going to find a way to make things work. And that's what I want you to do, is I want you to find a way to make things work. Most people, they're stating that what they hope will come together. And if it doesn't happen, then they're just too disappointed. And that's why they're not too committed to making those changes. What does it take to successfully create a New Year's resolution? You follow through on and lasting change in life. Well, the first step for lasting change is very much like having a New Year's resolution. It's just about, you got to have a vision for it. And a lot of times we get stuck in the vision of our past, not a vision of our future. We know what our past looks like, and a lot of times we spend all of our time looking at the past. But what is it that you truly want? I mean, not what you think that you want or what you should have. I mean, here's what most people's resolutions are. It's like, you stop eating sugar, stop smoking. I want to lose 10 pounds. And the problem is, those aren't really inspiring for a lot of people. It tells you who you are and what you're not going to do or what you're not going to get. And it's really hard to move forward with that. I mean, a vision is about what you're here to create. A vision is what really is one that really excites you. And so if you say, well, my resolution, my goal, my outcome for this month, this week, this year is to lose X number of pounds, it's got to be a compelling vision. It's got to have the power to pull you. Nothing you have, not something you have to push yourself to do. You don't have to try to, when you have a resolution, you don't have to push yourself to do it. It pulls you there. And so that is one of the biggest things that I want you to have. So we want, push requires willpower. Willpower never lasts. What will last is pull. Like, we're always pulled to things, attracted to things that excite us. But you got to have something so exciting, so attractive, something you desire so much that you have a hard time to go into sleep at night. Like, literally, you get up early in the morning, ready to take off at the next level, and that's what you're looking to create. And this isn't going to be easy. This isn't easy to get. One of the reasons why we do our classes and our makeovers is to help you get a vision of a compelling life. I mean, that's why we do our seminars, is to show you what's possible. I mean, why not why not just read it in a book or something? It's because when you get in an environment, when you're with people and you're put in a peak state, you focus on your progress, then that's where there's power there. And you surround yourself focusing on progress, that's where there's power. I mean, if you look at all the self-help books that are out there, it's ridiculous. So if you're watching a sporting event at home, you might have a certain level of excitement. But when you're in a stadium with 50,000 people and suddenly there's a whole different level of intensity, and we can feel that. I've been watching Alabama football games all year, and all of a sudden I went to the national championships. It was a game changer about the excitement that I felt. And that's why we do makeovers and the seminar that's coming up on February 2nd. They're so powerful. And the bottom line is that what our follow through comes when we have an emotional intensity. It's a different state of mind you're going to come up with, and you'll be much better, much more exciting vision than if you're just sitting at the couch, even watching it on video. Trying to figure out what your New Year's resolutions are. So think about creating a compelling vision for your life the morning after the New Year started. And that's what most people do. They wake up on January 1st. They've been a little inebriated. They're watching a football game in the background. They're trying to see what the rest of their life's going to look like and who they want to be and what they want to achieve there. And it's probably not going to have a power focus there. People probably aren't going to have the power or the energy to create something that'll pull you this year. It's got to be a vision that's compelling, something that you're going to give everything and make it happen. So the first thing that we really need to have as we're moving forward is we really need to have this compelling vision. I'm going to make sure I get the right slide there. Sorry about that. So we got to look at the reason why. The second problem I see with most people is not that we don't have a compelling vision. It's that we got a lot of excuses, right? We got a ton of excuses out there, and that's what most people, they live on, is their excuses. There's going to be reasons versus excuses. When you have strong enough reasons that you're going to follow through even when the going gets tough, that is what we call your why. And that's one of the biggest things missing for most people. They don't have a vision of what they want, and they don't have a big enough why of why they want it. They say that this is the kind of thing I want to do, and it's not very exciting or very compelling. But most people, but most importantly, they don't have a strong enough reason to push themselves through when the going gets tough, to be able to get through to their dream, to get the goal get to their goal when the inevitable challenges come up, and they will. I mean, think about when you're starving hungry and you're trying the diet, right? And when you have no time and you're stressed out and you haven't worked out, and this is the things that you're supposed to do, and when the economy starts to get tight, and then you thought you were going to have a workout, but you don't have that time. You got to go to work. Next thing you know, you give up on your goal and you give into the food. But the thing is that your reasons won't let the fear will let the fear take over you. And if you've got strong enough reasons and a strong enough compelling vision, and you've got enough strong reasons there rather than excuses, Well, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to push through those tough times, and you're going to do things other people don't do. And instead of collapsing, you're even if you get off target, you won't go, oh, I blew it. You'll just get right back on there, get right back on target, make the change, and make things happen there. So the big thing that I have that I think is important is time, right? A lot of times that are one of the biggest challenges is that we have is time. I mean, have you ever had this happen in your life? I mean, is there ever anything that you ever wanted so badly that you were desirous of, that you had such a hunger that you couldn't stop thinking of it? It could have been a career move. It could have been a car when you were a kid. It could have been a relationship. It could have just been about anything, but you were obsessed. And you just wanted to make this happen. You wanted to attract this into your life. You just wanted something. You didn't know how to get it. It was so compelling to you, but you kept thinking about it every day, envisioning it, imagining it, feeling it. And then stuff happened. And so you suddenly started attracting people into your life, and things just came together. I mean, you didn't even have a total plan, but it was just part of your focus on a daily basis. And there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. For short, we call it the RAS. So this part of your brain determines what you notice in the world. And it's really important because when you set your goals, and you get a really clear vision, and there's enough strong reasons, and you review it enough, then it becomes part of you. And then the part of your brain says, anything related to this, I notice. I mean, if you ever bought a certain kind of car or a certain outfit, and suddenly you see that car everywhere and you see those outfits everywhere, well, you know that the cars were always around, but you didn't see them. But because your RAS knows that this is important to you now, this is now part of your world. Similarly, when you really get a clear vision and it's compelling, you get strong reasons, and you're reviewing it every day and you're feeling it, the brain becomes incredibly acute at noticing anything to get you to be moving forward. And there's power in this. I mean, what do people do with a New Year's resolution? They come up with it. They kind of want it. It's not really a compelling vision, and they don't have strong enough reasons, and they never really review it again until they notice they didn't accomplish it. And then what do? They didn't really make a resolve. So if you resolve and you got a vision and it's compelling, and you review it daily, you keep it in front of you, and you become obsessed about it, and you feel it, and you envision it, and you experience it, well, it's as simple as it sounds. All right. So, sorry about that little technical difficulty on day number 1 of our half hour to health here. So, oops, now we're going back the other way. That's all right. I got a compelling vision to stay focused on with you guys. So if you're going to have lasting change at anything, you're really going to be talking about just raising our standards. And that is the biggest thing that, if I can ask you to do anything, is to really start raising your standards. Because a lot of times we just get comfortable there. And I tell people, if you want to know how to change your life, just raise your standards. What does that mean? Really, lasting change is different than a goal. You don't always get your goals, but you always get your standards. And maybe it would help if you think about it this way. Everybody in life gets their must. Like that person that I always tell people, sometimes patients say that they don't have time to get into the office on time, but they never would miss picking up their child from school on time. They must pick their child up from school because they put their child as a priority, right? They say that they should make their appointment at the office on time, but until they turn making their appointments into a must rather than a should, then there's a lot of wiggle room for there. And people have a huge list of shoulds, don't they? They have don't you have a list of things that you should do, the things that you should do, the things that you should follow through on there? I should lose some weight. I should go work out more. I should have, I should be happier. I should, be more respectful to people. I should watch my language. I should be a better spouse there. Maybe I should get in the office, I should be more confident. People love to have their should lists accomplished, but they're like New Year's resolutions. It's not really exciting, and the should list, and there really isn't anything that they don't really follow through on it. So when you don't accomplish it, it's disappointing, but you kind of know that wasn't really going to happen in the first place when you just say, I should do it. But when you decide something's a must for you, an absolute must, when you cut off any possibilities and you just say, I'm going to find a way, or I'm going to make the way. I mean, human beings, when they resolve things, when they make a real decision inside of themselves, which is they raise the standard and they make it a must, they find a way. And think about in your own life. I mean, haven't you had some area of your life where you raise your standards and your life has never been the same? I mean, think about maybe you used to hang around with different types of people, and they always kept on bringing you down, right? And then you started raising your standards by hanging around with different people, and all of a sudden your life transformed. Maybe at one time you smoked cigarettes or you did something like that for years, and then you kept on trying to change, but you kept on hanging out with people that smoked. It's impossible. My dad used to always say, if you hang around with slippery people in slippery places, one day you're going to slip. So one day something happens, and an example is cancer. I can't tell you how many people that have come into the office. I said, hey, look, we need to change your lifestyle. We need to change the way that you think, and we need to change your mindset. We need to change your exercise. We need to change your nutrition and your toxicity. We need to get your nervous system working so your body can heal, repair, and regenerate. And they're like, oh, it's just too hard. Then all of a sudden they get a diagnosis like cancer, and then something just clicks. Something takes over them, and it's a tipping point. And inside them, they say, no more. I'm not going to do the things that I know cause cancer anymore because my life is too important. And it's a very different experience, isn't it? Like when you have that something shift of what should becomes and it becomes a must, and then you never go back. And if there's an area of like that in your life right now, when you finally said no more, you just don't go back. You just don't go back and on it. It didn't take any real willpower to make that commitment. And sometimes, when we make this click, we make something a must. We attach it to ourselves, and it becomes a part of our identity. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I would like to, really discuss with you guys right now, because it's all about identity, who we say we are. Because a lot of times we say that, oh, I'm big boned, or I have all these, a genetic issue. I've tried so many times to get healthy. I've tried to, and I think that's one of the challenges that we run into. We don't have the identity, so we only act consistent with our identity. I mean, one thing that I learned in my 25 years of working with people, and literally over 760,000 patient encounters, is that human beings absolutely follow through on who they believe they are. And so if you said to me, well, I'm really going to work hard to stop losing weight, and I've been overweight my whole life, and I'm just a big person, I know your days are numbered. I know you're going to lose pounds, and then you're going to gain them back again, because we all act consistent with who we believe we are. The strongest force in the world is the human personality. And it needs to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. So if you define yourself as someone who's really conservative, you're not going to be crazy and nuts unless you're really drunk or doing something or something. And then you can say it was the alcohol. But when it's really just you finally getting permission to be yourself, the alcohol is just your excuse. See, if you're a really crazy person, and if you're a really crazy person, but you act crazy, usually it's outrageous and playful, you don't act conservative, because that's not who you are. Very often people say, I just can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. Somebody always talks about, like, people will talk about, I have difficulty giving up sugar. I just love sugar. I have a hard time doing that. And I said, have you ever had a hard time giving up heroin? And they're like, well, I've never done heroin. I'm like, because you don't do heroin, because that's not how you see yourself as a person that eats heroin. You'll keep eating sugar until you understand that you're a person that doesn't eat sugar. When you understand, you get a big enough reason that sugar causes cancer when you eat it, that sugar causes pain, sugar creates inflammation, which is responsible for so many aspects of our health issues in the country right now. But sugar keeps you from being the very best person you want to be, and prevents you from actually achieving the visions that you've set in your life. So I think that one thing that is important is that when we create we get a definition of who we are, then that's how we act. It's just that who I am, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be for the rest of my life. And I'd like to ask you to take a look at any place that you've got a limitation, and look at any of the excuses, any limitations, and maybe even some of the things that you made New Year's resolutions about, and ask yourself, when did I decide to accept this limitation? When did I decide to say this was mine? I mean, you may not even see it as a limitation right now. You might just see it as that is who I am. But think about this. When you were 5 years old, like, what did you think that you could do? People thought we could be president of the United States. We thought we could be superheroes. We thought we were going to be the richest man in the world. Right? Does that make sense? And then at what point did you stop believing things were possible? And those things that you stop believing with your as a child are the limitations that you put on yourself. So often in our lives, we just adapt to being a certain way so we don't fail, or so that people will like us or respect us. But that's not necessarily really who we are. I'll give you an example of limiting beliefs. So I want to show you one of our patients, and this was on the picture on the left, and you'll see it in a second. The picture on the left is who she was when she first came into our office. And she came to one of our makeovers, and she had every excuse that you can imagine. I can't exercise because I'm too big to exercise. I like food too much there. I've tried everything. I've tried every form of exercise there. Like you name it, she did it as far as an excuse there. The thing I want you to look at is what happened after after 3 months on the healing diet there. She loses 80 pounds. And guess what people were telling her? Oh, you're losing weight too quick. Are you starving yourself? No, she was just eating healthy food. She was literally eating in a way that was genetically congruent for her. And she lost 80 pounds in 3 months after she'd been trying her whole entire life to lose weight. So if you have that 5 pounds, or if you have that 15 pounds, or if you have that extra 80 pounds or 100 pounds, it doesn't matter. It's about slow progress over time, making these changes. So I just want to let you know, if she can do it, who can do it? You can do it. And so as we kind of go through, we talk about you have to resolve, you make that decision. But the problem is that most people have the wrong plan, okay? And so if you have the right plan, then you can make the right decisions there. You can save yourself time and energy and money. And that's why, as a Maximize Living doctor, we have what we call the 5 essentials, okay? And so the 5 essentials are really big keys. And they're really simple. The first essential that we have is what we call as core chiropractic. Can you imagine your brain controls the function of your entire body? In fact, behind me, I actually have a chart. I think it's right over here. And every single tissue, cell, and organ in your entire body is controlled by your nervous system. Like, all your hormones are regulated. Your immune system is regulated. Your every touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound. Literally, your whole human experience is regulated by your nervous system. And most people don't even know how their nervous system is functioning, right? And that's a darn shame. And they wonder why they have health issues there. And so the first thing that we have to do is your nervous system controls the function of your body. We got to get your body functioning right. The second thing that we look at is nutrition. One of the biggest keys about nutrition is that that you have to actually eat in a way that's genetically congruent. This is a step-by-step plan. We get your nervous system working right. We teach you how to eat with what we call our healing diet. And that's really what we're going to be covering, not only just mindset stuff at the Restore Makeover, but we're also going to be teaching you the fundamentals of nutrition. We're actually going to have a 30-day challenge plan with all your meals listed out there, all your exercises, everything that you need to do to actually make those changes. We're going to be working on the mindset there, because we want you to really hit your unique lifestyle and wellness goals there, through the 5 essentials, and really simplify this complex place of losing weight, getting healthy there. We're going to teach you how to actually exercise in 12 minutes a day, and get outstanding results, and get really balance out your hormones and turn your body from a fat burner into a sugar burner. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to teach you how to minimize toxins. And most people don't realize this. If you're weight loss resistant, if you've had challenges losing weight in the past, probably one of the things is that you're actually very, very toxic there. So if we can start teaching you how to do these things, have the path, have the plan, then what'll start to happen is that you'll start to get the results. So you'll have the vision of what your life looks like. You'll have the compelling, have the why of why you want your life to look like that. You'll get those reasons really strong there, and you'll be able to take action, but you'll also have a plan that actually works to take good actions there. All right. So I guess this is one of the last things one of the last couple of things that I want to show you here. I just want to make it real for you. I mean, have you ever done this? Have you ever told yourself that you're going to raise your standards? And I'm going to make this happen, and this is the final time. I'm just going to do it like this I'm going to do it like this from now on. Let me make sure this is working there. There we go. I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to transfer my kids. I'm going to create ultimate relationships in my life. I'm going to do all these things. Well, if you've done that before, and you're tired of making excuses there, I want you to know that we have a plan that we can take you through, and that's why I want to invite you. If you got value from this, let me know, okay? I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to share an evening with you. I hope this time was valuable. But I think the thing that, if I could leave you with one thing, you're only as strong as the people that you hang around, okay? You're only as strong. And so, you trying to make a resolution with your family at home doing the same things that they've always done. And everybody says it's not going to be me. Like, maybe I'm not going to be the one with heart disease. I'm not going to be the one with cancer, but we know it's going to be 5 out of 6 people. We got to take care of ourselves, but we also got to take care of the people that we love. And so as a maximized living chiropractor, my job is to change the way that people perceive and receive their healthcare. And literally, if we can do that, we can yank them out of a system that is creating sick and suffering people, long-term patients that literally they're just trying to stay alive for the rest of their life, and actually have people that live a true maximized life. And that's what gets me up. That's my vision. That's my compelling reasons every single day, that I want my family to live the same way that I want your family to live there. So I want to invite you. And if you want to come to the makeover, just, leave your, just say, I want to come, and we'll contact you. Just leave a contact in the notes there. We'll send you a link to be able to come to the makeover there. Because you're on the webinar, you're going to be my guest. Okay. Which means that this is going to be my gift to you, because you actually took the time to be here tonight. We'll make sure you get. We'll also make sure you get ebook copies of my last 3 books, and we'll also make sure you get when you come to the makeover, you'll get the 30-day plan, in which you can, that you can follow through, and you can do this as a team here. If you ever have any questions, you can email us at info. That's info at Dr. TJ Osborne. drtjosborne.com. Just remember, I guess in closing, I just want to remind you who you are, and that you guys are more powerful than you ever know. And you're more brilliant than you'll ever know. And there's so much more in store in life. And stop lowering your standards, just raising your standards, and start seeing yourself as God sees you. And so I just want to thank you for tonight. I would ask you, though, as we put together this series of half hours to health, just leave any topics in the comments that you want to be able to see, and we'd be more than happy to put those together. And we'll do them as often as that you guys have questions there. So have a great night, and blessings.